cool if you had a vision board for your dream event and you could look at it every single day so that it would help you manifest that dream event? Well, today I'm going to teach you how. So right now you are backstage with me and we are going to record an episode of the Greenroom Central podcast together, and you get a sneak peek at what is going to be inside that episode. I'm going to start recording here, and if you have a question or a comment while I'm recording, go ahead and drop it in the comment section, or if you're watching this as a recording, drop it into my DMs and I'll help answer your question. All right, thanks for hanging out with me today. Wouldn't it be cool if you had a vision board for your dream event, one that you could refer to every single day as a way of helping ground you in your vision and drive you forward towards that goal, help you manifest, right? Well, today I'm going to teach you how and how to do it the right way, because I just learned this. There is a wrong way to create a vision board. I wish I'd known this sooner. So first, I have to tell you that I'm not new to making vision boards, but I am new to the right way to make a vision board. So a couple years ago, I made a board like in this very office that you and I are hanging out in right now. I got a big piece of foam board, like big. We're talking probably like 2 by 3 feet, maybe bigger. It was huge. And it helped me to have that like big canvas, or so I thought. It just took forever because it was so big. But anyways, I remember having it on the floor, cutting out a bunch of stuff, gluing it down, and a very craft project like, and like putting it, figuring out that it was so big that I didn't have anywhere to put it. And then, so I like just stored it in the closet behind me, which, what good is it going to do in the closet? Who's done that? Oh my gosh. So I stored it in the closet, and then I would peek at it every once in a while throughout the year. But at the end of the year, I looked at it and I realized that I didn't get most of what was on that board. And we're going to unpack why as we hang out together today. But it was one thing on there I got, and it was like perfectly to the T. Like, so I had made the board with very like generalistic kind of thoughts and about what I wanted, but I knew that I wanted adventure for my family that year. And so what I did was I cut up a bunch of pictures of places around the Pacific Northwest that we hadn't yet gone to or that we liked, and I pasted them all over the board in kind of the gaps in between other things that I had thrown on there. And one in particular was a specific view of Mount Rainier where there was a meadow. Like, I am so smitten for flowers in a meadow on mountains. And I had found a picture of a meadow and a mountain stream. I absolutely love mountain streams. I could sit by them all day. Super calming for me. So a meadow of flowers and a mountain stream with Mount Rainier kind of towering in the background. And I looked at the picture on the vision board, and then I went to my camera roll and I picked out the exact photo. Like, we had been in that exact spot that year and taken a family photo, and my jaw dropped. I couldn't believe how close it was. And when I think back to that vision board, because that particular image was so specific, like it was a place I actually wanted to go to, a very specific spot, and I was definitely driven to make that particular thing happen. It is interesting that I got it, and not for lack of me like planning to make it happen. It's so silly. So I had in my head all year, like this is an adventure I want to make happen, right? But then the way it happened was so interesting. Labor Day comes around, and we had planned to go camping somewhere, and I'm not remembering right now, but wherever it was either full or the weather wasn't right or something. I can't remember the circumstances, but at the very last minute we pivot and decide to go to Mount Rainier and go camping there. And so silly, we didn't even have reservations. We got the last spot when we drove up. We're like, oh, I'm sure there'll be walk-up camping spots. It's not a thing. But we got it anyways, so we had a magical weekend camping. And I think it was the only reason why I, in that moment, pivoted to that spot to go camping was because in my head, it was there. Like I could picture being on Mount Rainier, specifically in the time of year when there's flowers still blooming, a meadow. And we made it happen. And looking at that vision board and then taking the training that I recently took on vision boards, it makes sense to me now why, of all of the random stuff that I put on that vision board, why I got that thing. And so that is my long-winded way of telling you that there is a right way and a wrong way to make a vision board. I just learned that, and I'm going to help share with you how you can use the right way of making a vision board and use it to help you manifest your dream event. This is going to be so cool. So recently, I listened to a training by Rob and Kim Murgatroyd, and they have this couples vision board course. You need to go buy it. I'll link it up in the show notes. It's amazing. But what I learned in there is we need to be super specific about what we want. And the vision board needs to be specific to what we want. And so I'm going to give you the 3 steps to creating that type of specific vision board so that we can use it to manifest our dream event. And we talked at length, remember back in episode 54 on manifesting your dream event, we talked about the manifestation process. So I want you to go back and listen to that episode after we get done today with the vision board exercise. I want you to go back and listen to the manifestation episode because these two dovetail really nicely together. So here's the 3 steps that we're going to take to create your vision board for your dream event. And it starts with keeping a running list of what you like and don't like when you're at other people's events or when you see other people's events when you're scrolling on social media. We've talked about this before, right? In order to come up with what you want, it's super helpful to model what you've seen done before. And so what works for me is on my phone, I keep a notepad and keep it specific to your dream event, a note on your phone. And then your phone is always with you, so you can always be adding to this list. You can always be adding to the list and saying things like, I want to give away this piece of swag. Oh, I want to have my yoga retreat in this location. Oh, I want my guests to feel like X when they're in the room. Oh, I think the physical embodiment of my brand smells like this, or looks like this, or feels like this. All those things, go back to that manifestation episode, and just keep a running list of what, when your head goes, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we could, I don't know, just this like examples in my head right now. Wouldn't it be cool if we could ride in on a steer and do our event in Texas? Wouldn't it be cool if we could take our guests to a rodeo? Wouldn't it be cool if we could have custom fitted cowboy hats made for everybody before they go to that rodeo, like as an activity in the afternoon? It's all crazy. Wouldn't it be cool if we could do a yoga retreat in Costa and go to swim in a waterfall one afternoon. Okay, so you're going to keep, number one is you're going to keep a running list of things you like, things you don't like for your dream event scenario. And I personally, what works for me is keep it on my phone in a notepad, note, so that it's so easy for me to just constantly be adding to that list. So that's number one. And that wouldn't it be cool if phrase I just got from that Robin Kim Murgatroyd's training on vision boards. I love that phrase because it helps allow us to step into the vision without this like heavy feeling commitment that we have to understand how it would possibly happen. Right? You don't have to know how you're going to find a ballroom friendly steer named Oreo, but you do have to know, you just have to be okay with allowing that vision to play out of you riding in on that steer so that you write it on the note in your phone, and then we'll figure out later how to make it happen, right? So number one, you're keeping a list of those likes, dislikes, wouldn't it be cool if, the dream event scenario. That's 1A. 1B is if there is a picture that you come across that personifies that feeling, or I want image too. So maybe you're saving that image in a Pinterest board, or maybe you're also saving it into that note. Okay, or maybe what I do is on my phone, in the photo album section, you can create albums, and if you take a screenshot of something while you're on your phone, you can put it into an album and you can name that album like Dream Event. And so it makes it really easy in the moment. Again, we're still just using that tool that's with us all the time of our phones and capturing the vision of what our dream event looks, feels, sounds, smells, tastes like. So 1A is keeping that list. I would recommend in your notepad on your phone. 1B is capturing images of that exact place, that exact drink that you want to serve, that exact signage that you thought was so cute, that exact outfit that you think you would feel so amazingly confident in on stage. Okay? 1A, make the list. 1B, capture the images, the specific images. We are not doing a vision board party where we're using other people's magazines and we're not thinking at length ahead of time about what the vision might be. We're getting very specific for perhaps even months about what our vision is, capturing specific images in specific places or of specific things, like what you're going to wear or what you're going to eat or what swag you're going to give away, okay? We're being specific. That is where I think that's the magic. When I put the title of this episode as The Right Way, I think what I would underline and draw an arrow to is the word right, is this whole concept of being specific with the images. We're not just cutting stuff out of a random Teen People magazine. Why did that one come to mind? I don't know. House Beautiful is my ideal magazine, or maybe Magnolia or something. Teen People. Okay. But you're cutting out specific or screenshotting specific images. We're writing down specific things that we want to do or feel at our event, okay? That it's the specificity, and it's taking the time that we need. This isn't like a one day, like on New Year's thing, is creating this vision board. It's taking the time to really flesh out this vision. And that's why it's going to take a month or 2 or 3 of you on your phone adding to this album, photo album, adding to this note with all your ideas. Okay, so I've hit that, I need to get off that soapbox of the right way to do this and move on. So hello. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Stay here. Okay, we're back. Let's do number 2 and 3. Okay, so now let's move on to number 2. We are going to take all the time that we need to do number 1, and then we're gonna, when we feel like we've got enough to work with, and this might take weeks or months, what I want you to do is get out a stack of index cards. That's my preference, and some washi tape or some sticky notes. I just think index cards are sturdier and last longer, so that'd be my preference for you. And kind of put each of those ideas on its own card that you had in that note on your phone. And even if you want to get all crafty, go just print all of those pictures and cut them out and give them their own index card too. So you kind of got like this big stack of index cards that have all of the images and all of, like, don't be precious. This is like totally a working exercise, like draft, definitely, form of the vision board. And so get a stack of index cards that has all of those ideas and all of those images. And I want you to do is kind of take a blank wall and stick them up in kind of like the order, very like generally, that they would happen at the event, okay? So what that could look like is if it's a multi-day event, maybe it's like you've got like 3 like linear 3 lines on the wall, like top to bottom of like, okay, day 1, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, this. Or if you want to do it like horizontally and just kind of not worry about days of the event, just kind of make a line on your wall or even on the floor of just like the order, kind of like create we inside Live Event Academy, we teach this process of creating, like drafting your agenda. And this is just like kind of more of the 10,000 foot view of that. And so it's okay if it's just, you're just kind of organizing those index cards in a line on the floor. And it's okay if you decide you want to like do it on the wall and stick them up there with some tape. Whatever works for you to kind of get it into an order of how it would happen. And you don't have to be precious about it. And if it helps you, you can even, I'm visual, so that's how I would like it to be, but if you want, you can even write this as if it's a story and about the event. You kind of like narrating what, if it was an episode of TV, like how it would go. You can write it down if that's if that's helpful for you to have words to go with it. And so you've got your words and you've got kind of the wall of images, the line of images. And I want you at this point to fill in any gaps, like major gaps where you need an image. And so perhaps that means that you've got to go do some Googling of that city where you want to host the event, or that venue where you want to host the event, or that type of swag, or decorating the or decorations for the stage, whatever it is. Maybe right now you have to go do some Googling and kind of find images that represent the gaps so that you can get a really clear dream line, if you will, together. And that, at that point, is when it's time to go make it into a board. And the reason why this works is because we've taken all this time to really think about what we want it to be, how we want it to feel, what we want to do with our guests. Maybe it's even what we want to teach. And found images that reflect that specific time during the event when that would happen. Things that are so specific, because that's the stuff that your brain can latch onto and go be like, okay, we gotta go make this happen. I think that's why I ended up on Mount Rainier taking a hike in the exact location. I had no idea this was the case, where that picture on my vision board had been taken, and ended up standing next to that exact mountain stream and feel like meadow of flowers on the mountainside. Is when our brain, when it's so specific and it's exactly what we want, it's easier for our brain to help us go get it. So you're going to take and make a board, but you're not going to, don't go like cutting and pasting and gluing and scissors and stuff. Like, take those images and go into Canva, or have a designer on your team do this, and almost like think about Instagram and the feed back when they wanted us to post photos, and how beautiful some people's feeds looked. It was just like those nice clean boxes. Well, think about kind of organizing your vision board in Canva into those squares like a grid, as if you're making an Instagram grid of your event, or organize them in a linear fashion, that like dreamline order fashion that we talked about, and make it into a poster type thing on Canva and print it out. Like, make it so beautiful that it's almost like a piece of art, but it's a meaningful piece of art to you because you look at it and it helps you tell the story to yourself every single day of that dream event. And then go have it printed somewhere at a print shop. Maybe even have them put it on heavy cardstock or laminate it so that you can hang it on the wall in a prominent place in your office where you will be journaling every morning and you can look at it, or where you're working every day and it's just something that you see on the wall next to you and you can look at it all the time. If you have a shared office with your team, this is even better. You can hang it in a collaborative space, or maybe you print multiple copies and ship them to your team so everyone can hang them in their office, and everyone's what is that called? The RAS, reticular activating system, can be activated to be like understanding what the story is behind that vision, like kind of the written stuff that you created, the written story you created, and then having that visual imagery on the wall, and everyone can be integrating a routine into their lives of looking at the board, reading the story, and getting like little downloads from the universe on the how to make it happen over time. And I think when you do this process, when you keep that list of likes and dislikes and wouldn't it be cool ifs and those images, and then step 2, you go and kind of make it into a dream event line, kind of linear fashion. And number 3, you turn that into a really beautiful piece of art on a board and create a process to integrate telling that story and looking at that vision, integrate that into your, as a habit, into your daily work life. I know that you will make that dream event happen sooner than you could have ever imagined. I can't wait to see what you create. When you do this, take a screenshot and post it to Instagram and tag me so I can see it, because that would be so fun to see what you're charging after so I can help cheer you on. Go make your dream event vision board. I am so glad you and I could hang out today. This is going to be so fun. I love getting crafty. All right, take care. Hey, I hope you had fun watching that and listening. I hope it gave you some ideas. If it did, shoot me a DM because I want to hear it. All right, take care.